Hi everybody, hope you're doing well. Before we dive too much deeper into the Persona Child project, I thought I would go over Bronfenbrenner systems because that seems to be the thing that causes people the most concern. So let's take a look at this here. I like this model a little bit better than the one that's in your book. So let's talk about Bronfenbrenner for a second. So we've got the child in the center, right? And then you see the microsystem is everything that directly impacts the child. Micro means small, so small and direct connections to the child. So obviously the home that the child lives in, family members like siblings and parents, the school or the daycare that the child goes to, the neighborhood they live in, all of those are direct influences on the child, so they would be considered part of the microsystem. Mesosystem, and you'll see these arrows. Meso means a connection between two microsystems. So the best example I have for this one is, say when the family goes to the school for a parent-teacher conference, open house, back to school night. That would be an example of mesosystem. The home and the school are interacting with one another. Also with, say, church, if you go to church in the same neighborhood that you live in, and your neighbors are also your friends at church, that would be an example of mesosystem. Two microsystems that interact with one another. Exosystem means outside influences. So things that don't directly touch the child, but still have an impact on the way the child is being raised. So a perfect example for this is the parent's workplace. The child doesn't go to work with the parents every day and doesn't directly get impacted by the parent's workplace, but it can have an overall effect. Say your salary, or do you have medical benefits through work? That would impact your child. As a teacher, I loved having summers off when my kids were young, so I could stay home with them in the summer. So that would be another example of exosystem, is the parent's workplace and how that impacts the child indirectly. Lastly, we've got macro system. Macro means big. It's the big overarching beliefs or values or morals that will guide the way that you raise your child. So definitely religious values, political values, cultural values would all be part of the macro system. Now, religion is interesting because when you talk about church, the specific church that you go to, that the child might go to Sunday school or catechism or youth group, that would be considered micro because the church directly impacts the child. But when you talk about religious beliefs or values, that would be part of the macro system, the overarching beliefs or values that impact the child. So when you start filling out your Persona Child background sheet, make sure you get all these little blanks that you need to fill out, your child's height and weight at birth. I like this model for Bronfenbrenner better than the one that's in the book. I think this one's a little bit easier to follow, but you're just going to plug in your examples. Again, the Persona Child project is based on your life experiences plus what you've read in the book to raise this imaginary baby. So you will answer the Bronfenbrenner questions, but then you can decide the specifics about how you're going to raise your child. So I hope that helps explain Bronfenbrenner and the systems a little bit better. As always, if you have questions or comments or concerns, please see me. Thank you so much.